Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in again today. Quick preamble for you. I've got 4 episodes coming to you recorded live from the second deck of the Hetma booth at InfoComm 2024, but I got to give you 2 quick disclaimers. One, as you all probably know, I am an amateur producer, and meaning that I forgot to click a certain button in the system so that our recording platform was trying to take out the background noise, which was obviously a lot on the show floor. So you may hear some a distortion and stuff because of that, but it's only because it's trying to take out the background noise. I apologize. And for both of these episodes, you may hear my voice is kind of hoarse because it was a busy week and I didn't have my full voice available, but the episodes are just too good not to bring them to you. So I appreciate your patience with those 2 things. And with no further ado, here's an all new episode of the AVIT Amplifier.
I know, right? We should have a dance-off. Hey.
You're listening to the AVIT Amplifier. Each week, we'll feature voices and ideas that need to be amplified in the higher education and pro-AV IT communities. This show is brought to you by higheredav.com. And now here's your host, Ryan Gray.
Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in again to the AVIT Amplifier. As always, if it is Wednesday, a new episode is in your feed, and we are back for week 2 with Miss Carrie Garcia, or the Abuela.
Hola!
I think we got to get that going. Would you please again remind everybody who are you and what do you do?
So I'm Carrie Garcia. I work with YCD Multimedia. I am a mom, wife, sister, daughter, and mother-in-law, and soon to be Fabuela.
Yeah, that's awesome. And if you didn't hear last week's episode, pause, go back, listen. You hear who this person is and what she's passionate about. You'll be grinning ear to ear while you listen to it.
I hope so.
Thank you for coming back.
Absolutely.
And talking with us again. All right. Question number 1.
Sure.
Do you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert?
I am both.
Okay.
So I am an introvert in the sense of funny story. I don't like to go ahead and put myself out there if I don't feel I have something to offer. I had for a very, very long time a little bit of imposter syndrome, right, and thought, oh my God, how can a Puerto Rican like me have anything to introduce to this wonderful AV community? I come from IT. I cut my teeth on network and internet, and didn't realize that the natural evolution of my career was headed towards audiovisual, right, because the pro AV industry, it was so isolated from network and IT, and I just started IT, AV, IT, me, AV, AV, yes, me, IT, right? So that each other could understand. If you don't have the infrastructure, you can't run the audiovisual that you would like to run. Right. So they're symbiotic. You need each other. And so I didn't know how to make that known until, somebody came recruiting from the audiovisual industry, right, at Whitlock to be specific, and said, you're green and we want you, right, because we need somebody like you with your energy to share with the audiovisual industry how the network is going to be help them keep them be successful, right? And so I was like, wonderful. And it was really, really refreshing to go ahead and receive flowers and chocolates instead of having to hand out my card at the bar, right? Which I probably would have never done. I would have never gone looking for a career in AV. And that's why I say that the pro AV industry found me, right? So I got hired with Whitlock, and it was a great run. And then I left Whitlock just because of the merger and acquisition with AVI-SPL. Right. So there was so many people in the industry, and I was one of the last ones brought in. So last person on the totem pole, first one out. Yeah. So as far as being an extrovert, I will speak to a head of lettuce. Right. So I don't mind. I have a really good story with a girlfriend of mine that I worked with at AT&T It was her first day. I was going to the onboarding session. Everybody in the elevator was like looking at their feet, just like shy or scared. And she and I locked eyes, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
You know, like my ride or die partner in crime. And we've known each other for going on 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So both. I am an introvert in things that I don't know and don't think I have something to contribute about. I'm a sponge. I'll listen in and I'll just sit in the back like a wallflower and take it all in. You know, I'm not like Lady Whistledown from Bridgerton or anything. I'm not going to go writing people's, gossip column or tell their business. But then I'm an extrovert because I want to get people interested in what I love, and I'm passionate about what I love. And I will speak to you until you walk away.
Right. Is that part of why then you want to make sure other women feel comfortable? So
Absolutely.
That they can do the same
Absolutely.
thing?
I think that as women, we feel that big imposter syndrome, like right up close and personal, right in front of our face. Like it's almost, we're our own worst enemies. We can't get out of our way. And so if they just embrace who they are, what they love, and what they have to offer, other people will bring them into the fold and appreciate them just as much as I do.
Right. That's awesome. All right. In the alternate universe where you don't end up working in any technology industry, what do you think you would have been good at?
Oh, I probably would have been the head of my own school. I would have definitely. So my sons, in their like third year, fifth year in school in Florida, there's this test that you had to pass. It was called the FCAT, right? And so since then, it's been done away with. But back then, it was the only thing children were doing in school was to learn to pass this test. They weren't learning for learning's sake, right? And so my kids could read exceptionally well, but math was their downfall. And so I went ahead, and my husband works in ed tech. So the company that he was working for at the time went ahead and was selling math intervention. So I took a summer to go ahead and learn how to be a trainer for his company, just so I could go ahead and do that for my sons, so that they can feel confident in the ability to take the test. I wanted my sons to be taught to be able to learn mathematics, arithmetic, cursive writing, how to write a check, how to, address an envelope, just multiplication, simple multiplication tables. Then you've got like all this, forgive me, I don't mean to get political, but all this core math. And that, like 2 and 2 is 4. But how do you go ahead and multiply and divide just to get to the same answer? Like, you're making it more complicated for the kids.
Right.
So I think I definitely either would have been a teacher or a principal of a school. I would have developed some type of a learning facility for them to feel comfortable and encourage them and empower them, or that embrace a different way of learning, so that they wouldn't be so scared to take this FCAT test. And my husband even went ahead and was like, you guys are great hunters, you're gonna slay the cat. He'd come in a safari outfit, and we'd have to make, they were terrified. They were, I don't know how many kids would come to our house, and I would help them. I did go to school to be an elementary school teacher, but to help ESE students. And that's where my heart and my passion is either with the ESE population or with the elderly. So I kind of think, I don't know, would have done something in between.
Well, I think you would have been a fantastic at that.
Thank you.
I can just see you just like inspiring children and encouraging them. It also sounds a little like your household is kind of fun and have some energy.
It is.
Your husband's got an outfit to help them slay the FCAT.
Of course, yes.
That's awesome.
Yep. And as a matter of fact, we go ahead, and it's funny because, for the longest time, we were annual pass holders at that Human Trap. In Orlando, right? And so we would all bound as different characters, and we would just make it fun. And, it's just superhero capes to make sure that they felt that they had the superpowers to be able to accomplish anything.
That's awesome. Okay, so one of your badge flags down there says troublemaker.
I am. Yeah, I like to shake things up. I walk into a room, nobody's looking at each other, nobody's talking, and I'm like, hola! I'm here. And you can't ignore the fact that, you you need to, I feel that the lack of social skills, you know, going back to BC before COVID, right? And then my niece, me handing her a BlackBerry back in the day, and her trying to swipe left and swipe right, and she couldn't because she was a digital native and I'm a digital immigrant. You know, I had to learn all these things. And my husband says it that, you know, to err is human. To really mess up, you need an electronic device. And isn't that true? You know, he's like, thank God for Apple, because he cannot survive with Control Alt Delete. You know, so it's just I feel that if you're not going ahead and stirring it up, you know, you have to engage and help others come out of their shell. So yeah, I'm a bit of a troublemaker.
I love that.
I have to be.
Well, that, like the person that stirs the pot, or the little agents of chaos. That wants to take that
So now, you know, the hype person when, you know, go to a dance party or whatever, hype man. That's me. I always was my kids' wingman. I'm like in the dugout when my kids were in Little League playing baseball, and my son got popped in the mouth with a stray baseball, and he's like, starts to bleed, and I'm like, there's no crying in baseball. And then I'm looking at my husband, get me some ice. The poor kid has got a bloody nose, you know? And it's just like, you're encouraging, but at the same time, you're there to be mothering. And you know, sometimes I'm a bit much for people, and that's okay. I welcome them to go find less. You know, and then I'm not for everybody, but for those that don't know me and want to get to know me, I'm an open book.
That's awesome. Definitely. It's serious. The energy, my whole energy level changed. Like, this is awesome.
Sorry.
No, it's fantastic. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, day one energy.
Yeah, day one energy on day 3.
All right. More serious question.
Sure.
Do you believe humans are generally good with a proclivity for evil, or generally evil with a proclivity for good?
So my faith tells me that they're good with the proclivity for evil, right? But there is free will, so they get to choose. And for me and my faith, there's grace, right, and forgiveness. And so when somebody does something wrong, I do believe that they can be forgiven, right? And it's not my responsibility to judge or to do the forgiving unless it's something directly that affects me or that they've done to me. But I do believe that people are generally good, and they just choose sometimes the wrong path.
So as you kind of walk through life with that mentality, how does that inform your building of relationships and how you deal with people?
So let's not get it twisted. I'm very, very cautious because I'm a mom and I'm a mother bear. And I'm like, you know, I will go for the jugular of anybody who messes with mine. But at the same time, I am always trying to remember that I was saved by grace. And so I have to extend the same grace to others.
When that comes to mind for you, I'm going to extend grace. What does that look like, or what are you thinking when you see you have to do that?
A very, very high level of willpower and humility, because, you know, it's like justice is justice, right? And I want to be on the side of justice at all times, but at the same time, I don't want to pass judgment. So I'm like, I always say inside me, Lord, you know, I could, with one swift, you know, word, or with what, you know, I could just cut them to the quick. And then I'm reminded it's not my responsibility to do so.
Like, you can support justice, but that doesn't mean I'm
the
arbiter of that justice.
Nope, not at all. And so it's a lot of humility, because, and a lot of restraint, self-restraint sometimes, because you see the nasty stuff that's going on in the world today and the injustice, and you just want to go ahead and, I'm not saying that you shouldn't stand up for other people's rights. I'm just saying that I'm not I'm not judge and executioner.
Exactly. And find your role in creating the world you want.
100%.
You don't have to do it. You cannot do it all. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your first job?
Oh my gosh, my first job was being a babysitter. Because I always loved kids, and I actually was invited to go. I went ahead and I volunteered at my church to be able to go ahead and work in like the children's ministry, and I loved babies. So the pastor's mother-in-law was the nursery grandma, right? And we used to call her Mama Pal. She would say who could come in and hold the babies, who could come in and change diapers. And And I think I was all of like 9 years old. And I was just allowed to play and crawl on the floor with them to keep them entertained. I was given no responsibility. And when I was told to sit in a corner, I sat in a corner and waited. Then I went ahead and grew up in that church. And so I did take care of the babies, hold them, give them their bottles, change their diapers and whatnot. And it was just something that I never thought I wanted to have children. I thought I wanted to adopt because there were so many needy kids in the world that I could help. But then I met my husband, and I went ahead and he was a children's pastor at that church. And him and my dad were best friends first. It's a long story, but my first job was a babysitter. I even got invited. I mean, I went as an au pair to like different countries and St. Martin and the Bahamas, and just responsible for people's children, being a child myself, all at 15, right?
Oh my God.
So, but I loved it, and it's a passion of mine. That's why I can't wait to be a fabuela.
So, also, you got so much credit because downstairs it's gotten louder and louder.
Oh, it's fine. I love it.
You did great concentration once.
No,
That
we're
was awesome.
good.
Okay, so
I'm just waiting
I know
to raise the roof.
We gotta wrap this thing up.
You're
so we can get
fine,
down
you're
there and
fine.
party, you know what I'm saying? So I lost my train of thought because my follow-up was so your first job or that was taking care of kids and so I can already draw some things, but how is that? What are the lessons you learned doing that continue to serve you today?
Obedience. Right, obedience, because I wanted to do it all. I wanted to play with the kids. I wanted to feed them their bottles. I wanted to change their diapers. I wanted to do it all. I wanted to prove that I could, right? But there are certain boundaries with other people's children that even back then you could not cross.
Right.
Do you know how to change a little girl's diaper? Properly.
Right.
To where you're not causing them to have a rash. Do you know how to go ahead and change a little boy's diaper to where they're not peeing all over you as soon as they, hits the air because, you're not fast enough. And then you have to be careful, cautious. They're up, 4 feet in the air. Could they roll over? And so the responsibility that it's like too much is given, much is expected, right? And so that I wasn't there yet, and how much I grew and I learned just by being obedient and watching and still staying there after being told no 50 times, right? Just showing up and being there and just, waiting my turn and being patient. And that actually taught me a lot.
And that ultimately that obedience and all that was them trying to set you up for success.
Not going ahead and letting me fail. And then crying and then never wanting to go ahead and play with the kids or be around the children ever again.
Yeah, it's tough to learn.
Oh, 100%.
Let people fail when it comes to other people's children.
And I appreciate it so much. That's the lessons learned, I will go throughout my life and teach them to others.
Nice. Okay, and there's Brenda, I'm curious. What's your favorite phrase in Spanish that you like to say?
Can I say it on air?
You can say anything you want.
Coño.
Oh.
No, my favorite phrase to say is en buena hora or enhorabuena, which means congratulations or felicitations, or because I love to congratulate people. So when I see them, they're successful or what have you. But hola is like my tagline. I walk into a room and everything's hola, just because I want them to know that I'm not only there, I want to be seen, but I'm also Latina. So it's a way to do all that undercover.
I love that. And this is just a weird thing that I've had in my head a long time, is how much, so I grew up in Tucson, Arizona.
Okay.
So Spanish is like, I love Spanish, and I used to speak it pretty well, and now not anymore at all. But hello ends down.
Right.
Hola ends up.
And very alegre, very happy.
And it seems like such a better greeting than
hello.
Which is why I think we've picked up
what's
up and other things.
I don't say hello anymore. I say hi.
Yes.
Hi.
Up.
And then my daughter-in-law is like, oh my gosh, she's here. Right. Hi. Even my texts are HII exclamation point, right? So hi. But hola. And I never probably put two and two together, but now that you've said it, that's probably why.
It's one of those little things that's been
psychologically,
in the back of my head. I'm just like, no wonder we find other things. And hola is such a better greeting for people.
Yeah, it's just a better way of saying hello, and it's very open and welcoming.
So you said Enhorabuena as like felicitations or
Yeah.
congratulations.
Yes.
But that would be a good hour, right?
Yep,
Or-
and good
or-
time.
In good time.
And good
That's how
time,
it
or
is.
yeah. So
I love that.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for sharing.
Of course.
That's cool. I'm trying to think of what I've been trying to memorize my questions.
Your
so
notes.
I don't have to go
Yeah.
back to them all the
Okay.
time. What is something that you are, and sometimes when I ask this, I disqualify family because
Right.
everybody's proud of family for the most
Right.
part. What's something that you are really proud of? And it can be family.
No. It's not. It's So I'm really proud or appreciative.
Perfect.
Okay. So I'm proud of my faith.
Yeah.
And it's weird. Everybody's like, "What do you mean your faith?" Because if I hadn't been in the church that I was when I was growing up, I wouldn't have met my husband.
Right.
And then for me, my husband, he's like my partner
Yeah.
in everything. And 33 years, it's like when everybody asks me, "Oh, what's the secret?" And I'm like, I said my vows.
Right.
I went ahead, and I understand that things happen to people in life and marriages break up, and that's fine. And I'm compassionate and understanding about that. But for me,
Right.
for Carrie, for me and my house, I am appreciative for my faith because my vows have been like the cornerstone of our marriage, right? I'm a 2-time cancer survivor.
Yeah.
He's been with me, holding my hair, vomiting, wiping, everything. You know, and he's a keeper.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I support him and everything he's gone through.
Yeah.
My husband has had 2-3 concussions,
Oh my God.
and he has global transient amnesia. So sometimes he'll remember things,
Yeah.
and sometimes he forgets who I am.
Oh my gosh.
And recently, he went ahead and was like, "I'm sorry, you look like my wife and you're talking to me like you're my wife, but you're really old. And I don't think you're my wife. Can you please call my sister?" So I got a sister on the phone. I got her on speakerphone, and we had this interaction. And he's like, "Okay." His sister texted him photos of me. My sons came into the room because he thought our children were smaller than what they were and was upset that I had let them go to Chick-fil-A. And he's like, "They're 5 and 7. How could you let them walk to Chick-fil-A?" I'm like, "They're 25 and 27. They're driving."
Right.
He wasn't. So I'm supportive of him. He's supportive of me. And I think that I'm so appreciative of our faith, and we're doing life together,
Yeah.
and our friends and our extended family, that I'm just blessed. I'm really blessed. And so that is my cornerstone.
Right.
When people say, "What are you most proud of?" I'm proud of my family. I'm not proud of some of the things that we've done right to each other, because family hurts you. The people who you love the most can hurt you the most, right?
100%.
And so it's why, because we love hard and we love deep,
Yeah.
right? So it's especially in Latin families. And so I'm appreciative for, I guess, my faith, because it's kept me honest,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. So it's like that's so. That's like
I know it's
7
probably
things to
off
follow.
topic.
No, that is exactly what these questions are supposed to pull out. Like, I don't even there's 7 things to follow up on.
But
in
that
there.
but that's
Like,
what drives me. Like,
Correct.
that's what I'm built on, right?
So
and
it's like,
unapologetic about it.
so, and we, like you said, like 2-time cancer survivor and this condition, but you have the bedrock of those vows, where you have a structure, a concrete structure to then build.
And the support
Yeah.
from everybody. My mom's a cancer survivor too, so I learned
gosh.
how to deal with difficult situations my entire life at a
Yeah.
very, very young age. And
Yeah.
she wasn't part of my life for about a 3-year span, because back then, when you had radiation and chemotherapy, you had to stay away from the children
Right.
because they weren't, I mean, like, we're talking about, I was 9 years old, so we're talking about 46 years ago, right? So
Wow.
literally, I'm just, trying to watch the example of my dad. Nobody could be a better father, a better example, or a better husband than my dad was, until, lo and behold, mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you kind of look for the example that you had. And so, yeah, and my boys, they're great. I think I was raising dinosaurs when they
Yeah.
were growing up. Yes ma'am, no sir. and be respectful, shake your hands, make eye contact, because I'm raising them for society. I'm not raising them to keep for myself.
Right.
And so, yes, I'm just happy that my eldest and my daughter-in-law now are expecting their first. They were married in December.
Right.
They're expecting at the end of October. And it's good times. It's a great season of our lives.
Enhorabuena.
Yeah, en buena hora.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing so much of that.
Oh,
now.
thank
That was
you.
awesome. Like I said at the beginning, I love doing interviewing people is great because you do getting to know someone.
Thank you for the platform because
Yeah.
I always say, I volunteer as tribute, because I want people to know who I am.
Yeah.
I'm not just somebody who sells digital signage.
Right.
There's so much more to me. And then we might be able to connect on a different level.
That's what
and
I'm
we
saying.
may not ever do business together, but we will always be friends.
That's right. And that's what I love. Like, that's kind of everyone doing business here is a fully formed person with those kinds of stories.
Agreed.
Behind them. And it's brave to share them. That was really cool.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Oh, I appreciate you.
All right. Same last 3 questions for everybody.
Sure.
Third to last question. What's a question that you wish people would ask you, but nobody ever does?
So I wish people would ask me if am I white? Am I Hispanic? What am I?
Yeah.
A lot of people assume that I'm just too blonde for business.
Right.
They never get to know me. They never get to know my struggles, what I've been through, how I came up in the ranks.
Right.
Not that I'm ranking anything, but what I've done or where I've come from.
Right.
I walk into a room, they see, red lipstick and, colorful outfits or whatnot, and they don't know what to make of me.
Right.
And I wish people would just come up and ask,
Yeah.
okay, so what's your story?
Yeah.
And then, I've gotten too blonde for business because I like to dye my hair. I'm premature gray at 18, and I think blonde looks good on me. So I think I've gone through every color.
Perfect. So it's a little more like, I'm putting myself out there. It's okay to be curious.
It's okay to approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're not sure, because what you see is what you get sometimes.
Right.
And then sometimes, and it's okay to ask questions. As long as you're respectful, I don't mind answering any question.
So the question you wish people would ask is just ask questions.
Ask questions. Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, and I hope you see.
Yeah.
I can ask you some questions.
Oh,
and you
100%.
gave me-
And I gave you answers. I will let you behind the scenes.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right. Second to last question. If people wanted to find or connect with you, how would they do that?
So you can find me on Twitter, AV_chick, CGarcia at ycdmultimedia.com, and then just send me a DM.
Yeah, do it. All right. Thank you for that.
Of course.
Last question, and you're set up for this one, which is, I can just ask it to you straight out.
Yes.
I don't have to set it up.
No.
What is your end of the show, drop the mic, sign off phrase?
Take what you've learned, take what you've seen, go back home and get carried away.
Thank you for listening to the AV-IT Amplifier. Join us again for next week's episode when we'll welcome a new guest who you'll want to hear from. We promise. Your host has been Ryan Gray. He's on the tweeters at Ryan_A_Gray, or find him on LinkedIn to connect. Please subscribe and give the show a rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. This show is brought to you by higheredav.com. The views expressed here are not necessarily those of our respective institutions, employers, or sponsors. Everyone hang in there, go easy, and we'll be back next week.